welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the one and only Christopher Duarte, some of the best analysis in the game, the world champ himself. We got the multi-world champion, a multi-champion. Give it up for the legend, the icon, to the Call of Duty space, Patrick Price, a.k.a. Aches. We got the executive producer, Mr. Benjay Nassim, and then we got a special guest in the building, the multi-champion, a legend to the Call of Duty scene, an OG, a day one. Give it up for the head coach of the Minnesota Rocker, Dan Loony. What's going on, Dan? I appreciate you joining us, bro. What's going on, Loony? What's happening?
Much, you know, rough weekend, but we
happens, bro. That's how COD is, bro. You know what I mean? It'd be like that. How's everything going, bro? How you enjoying the event? I know obviously it was a tough loss, but I know you've been kind of just obviously. But I mean, other than that, you doing good, Dan? You doing all right?
I've been good, man.
Dan, I really appreciate you hopping on last second. I do want to show some love to Octane. His fiance was very sick today, so he is just taking this show off just to make sure that she's doing okay. Obviously, health is the most important thing. So, you know, hopefully everything's good over there. We're wishing Sam and his fiance the best. You know what I mean? We wish he was here, but, you know,
he'll boyfriend or fiance.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. He's a good guy.
Right? They're engaged?
Yeah, they're engaged. Fiance. W fiance, man. Hopefully everything's okay. We obviously we'll miss Sam, but show Sam some love in the chat. But we're gonna run an episode of Flame. We got everybody joining us. Duarte, how you doing, bro? You doing all right?
Doing good, man. Today was a banger. We got to see the top 4 teams play. Some looked good, some looked, you know, a little shaky, but you know, it's setting us up for a hell of a finale that we'll have tomorrow. Yeah,
the matches today were insane. Definitely probably one of the best days of matches so far. And then we got the executive producer. What's going on, Benja? You doing all right? Any papaya today? Any drinks?
A little bit of papaya rip when my stream ended this morning.
This guy's been faded the whole fucking weekend.
I've been fine, bro.
Yeah, okay.
I've been fine.
It's been faded the whole week.
I went over to the venue a little bit today. Said it had a bunch of people, so that was great. Venue was great. It was cold, but it was good. The environment was good. And then, yeah, I mean, an interesting day at COD. Some twists and some turns. I predicted the team to go deep. They didn't. And overall, I think the top 4 are the top 4, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, but how was the venue? A lot of people or what?
Oh, it was packed.
It was packed, huh?
Oh, it was busy.
Yeah, it looks packed on the camera.
Yeah.
How you doing, Pat? What's going on with you, brother? Doing all right? Love the hoodie.
I'm good, Tom. Yeah, I got the Flank merch
You and
on.
better matching.
Yeah, Banks.
Gang.
Banks. Ben stole my flow.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
But yeah, I caught up on some sleep last night, and then, well, I guess this morning. And then obviously I saw Toronto beat Optic, so it was a good day for me.
It was a good day for you, Pat. Pat, you know, Pat. One of Optic's biggest haters. It's the Slay. Guys, we're not going to waste any time. I definitely want to hop in and talk about some of these games. We had 5 matches today. There's been a lot of matches this weekend. We had 5 yesterday, 5 more today. It's been a long day, so let's hop into it and give our thoughts. First series of the day, we have the Seattle Surge going up against the Carolina Royal Ravens. This one ended in a 3-1 finish in favor of the Seattle Surge. We'll scroll down and take a look here at the box score. See, everybody positive for Carolina except for Clay. On the other side, Seattle, everybody negative, but they still get the 3-1 victory today. Chris, I mean, I'll start with you. Pretty lopsided score, box score, but Seattle get the 3-1 victory. What do you think?
The thing is with Seattle is, like, they're very efficient with the way they play hardpoint, even though they're not the best hardpoint team. Their relentless aggression on the map and just playing together makes it so that even if they are getting outslayed, the majority of the kills they're getting are just putting so much pressure on the other team to, you know, make plays, and they capitalized on it the entire event. They played really well. 04, even though like the statistics don't look particularly insane for 04, I think he has made a massive impact on this roster, not only in the consistency of their S&D gameplay, but even in those respawns, man. He has a very high ceiling where he pops off quite a bit in important moments. And, yeah, they were able to get the dub.
04 was an S&D star, right?
Yeah,
and you were saying he didn't have much respawn experience before coming in. He had zero respawn experience
before he started playing competitive this year.
No, it's impressive how much he's adapted so quickly. You know what I mean? Because you see a lot of rookies that come in and it takes them a little while to get going. I feel like 04, especially with not having that respawn experience, like the fact that he's able to come in here and be such a difference maker for Seattle has been really cool to see. But Dan, I know you obviously probably scrim these guys a lot. You play Seattle a lot. I mean, they're a pretty gritty team, huh, Dan?
Yeah, lost to them.
Yeah, and you lost to them, unfortunately.
Kind of like how you said, you just always have to have your gun up and always expect like a 2-piece, 3-piece because they just fly together.
Yeah.
They group up on the map and they fly together.
I mean, that's just the Hook special, bro. I feel like if you kind of get on board with that system, like it doesn't really matter what you're doing as long as you're doing it together, it's going to work, right?
Yeah.
Pat, what did you think about the series today?
Thought it was good again. We've got another good series out of Abuza, which I just want to, every time this happens, I'm going to bring it up. I can't believe this guy was running a sub. But this is a big win for Seattle. They needed this for points. I think this puts them in the
Top
sixth
6
spot now. Yeah, they're tied for 6 with Miami. So a big weekend out of them for getting points for champs, and have to see how they continue to play.
Yeah, this was definitely a big matchup for them. I mean, these teams are scrapping for points right now, bro. I mean, they need as many points as they could possibly get. But, Benjay, we got Seattle, Surge, Carolina. What did you think about the series today? Seattle got the W.
I thought, we talked about before the series started, it's a tale of two different kind of styles. Carolina's a little more structured. They love to kind of 3-1 and pinch. And Seattle is a lot of face smashing together and kind of full-on aggression. I thought the aggression one day, and you kind of saw the war of attrition on that last map, Rio. I know Carolina plays this map a lot, haven't been particularly good on it in land, and they got kind of bowled over pretty early on the map. And even though, the scoreboard shows it's lopsided, I mean, I think at the end of the day, Seattle was just the better team on the day.
Another thing to note,
before got slammed first map.
another thing to note is that Seattle used to be a very dog shit control team. We used to make fun of them all the time on the show for just like leaving points open.
For high-rise control in particular.
And just looking absolutely lost. Yeah, and they've turned the control game around. They're pretty much sitting at around like 50-50 in all game modes, which is quite impressive. If you're going to be a middle of the pack team, and you're pretty much even across all the game modes, it doesn't really mean that you have a strength, but it also really doesn't mean that you have a weakness. So that's pretty tippable out of them. I will say that in this series specifically, though, Ravens choked the fuck out of that control after pretty much almost going for the entire reverse sweep on it. They ended up getting a defense, and it looked like they just forgot how to play the game, because they played every other map or every other round up until that comeback really well. They played a fucking solid defense right before it to guarantee themselves another defense. And then on that last defense, they just spawned out, bro. Like, they just were not playing the game. It looked like they put their controllers down and they got shit on. So this could have been a deeper series, but, it is what it is.
What did Carolina end up placing? Top 8?
Top 8.
Top 8. So, I mean, going home, it's not a bad weekend for Carolina. They did get a top 8 placing. I'm sure they wanted a lot more than that, but
The other 15 points would have been big.
They're in the 8th right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tied with us, right?
Yeah.
I think we're tied in
So,
points.
so they're in the mix for a champ spot. Those 15 points would have been massive. And as we said, getting 7th and 8th, great for champs, but you want to get the 6th spot because playing Optic and Faze round 1 in the 7th, 8th spot, it's not ideal, Tom.
yeah, you definitely want to try and get up there because, you don't want to play the top teams early.
Yeah.
But how do you guys think Carolina's feeling after a weekend like this? I mean, they're going to go home. I don't see this team making any changes. I thought, obviously, the ARs played good this weekend. I thought Clay and Fellow looked a lot better on land. I think TJ's consistency really was impressive this weekend. I know, TJ hasn't always been the most slay-heavy player, but he's a very good, fundamentally sound player. And this weekend, he was picking up some kills. And then, of course, we had the rookie Win, who he had a good series at a 1.18 here. Obviously, they didn't get the W, but, I definitely think they turned some heads this weekend. Don't you guys think?
I mean, a lot of people expect them to come in and be solid, and I think they delivered. As we'll see with these sort of bottom 8 teams, there's some weird matchup things that happen. Seattle versus Carolina. So I think with Carolina, you stick at keeping what you're working on. Obviously, you want to get Clay there for all the online qualifiers if you can, because the record is so much better when he's in Carolina and when he's playing in Texas. And they got to get as many points as possible online, make that Major 4 as easy as possible.
I think if anything, this weekend, not even just in relation to Ravens, but just as the league as a whole, it kind of put Miami and Seattle on this radar of teams that people need to look out for a lot more and stop underestimating. And on top of that, I feel like these two teams specifically got really good at maps like 6-star that came in with the new map sets, and they got ahead of the curve on those maps. So either teams are going to have to start vetoing it, because I feel like they played it in the majority of their series. They were getting a ton of 6-stars, both teams, or teams are going to have to start getting better at that map and figure out what they're doing and make it their own, because I feel like that's as much as they played great on the other maps that they won, they played a ton of 6-stars and they just kept winning the S&Ds on them, the hard points on them, and it was just putting them ahead in every single series.
Yeah. Pat, what did you think about Carolina as a whole over the weekend?
Obviously, it was a positive weekend for them, but I hate to be that guy. I still think they need to make a roster change. My problem with this Ravens team is that they haven't, solidified themselves better than the bottom 8. We talk about them, are they a 5th, 6th team, whatever, but they still lose to quite a bit of those teams in that bottom 8. And for me, when you're looking at champs and you're like, all right, well, there's only 8 teams that qualify for champs, and you're talking about wanting, obviously, to try and upset a top 4 team, which is more unlikely, but even getting 5th, 6th at champs, I feel like they just need to make a move between either Clay or Fellow. I don't really care who. just kind of again solidify that they have a little bit more consistency on their roster.
Do you think one change in the AR would be that much of a
No.
difference?
I personally think so, and I'll say the
No.
reason is, I mean, obviously online we know Fellow is not good, but we don't get consistent series out of Clay and Fellow often. Like even when they do play, when they play well, we're like, oh my god, they're fucking gross. But it's literally one event or one match at an event, and it's usually versus a pretty bad team. So for me, I just think they have to make a change. Gwyn and TJ have been the only consistent players on this roster for me. And when it comes to champs, I mean, consistency is going to.
I'm gonna be honest. As much as like it would be ideal for like, let's say, like when we're looking at this roster change, it's like you're assuming like, let's say Ravens or just they can get like a superstar that is gonna like you can just tell just by how good he is and skillful he is.
I don't think they need a superstar.
He's gonna change the dynamic of this team. I personally think that if they do that, which I know for a fact there's no way they're going to, you're going to run into an LAG situation where you're essentially just replacing another player for another player, and it's going to make zero difference in your gameplay, and in fact, it could potentially make you regress. I don't think picking up
Slasher for Clay or Fellow makes this team regress in any way.
I don't think they get better or they get
no
worse.
point.
I don't think there's a point to it.
I think they get
And
better.
also, there is no way in hell that you're and then with the way that Fellow has performed, at least online, like maybe you could justify his online performances as a reason to make a change, but like you're not getting rid of Clay. Clay is easily the more aggressive AR usually on this team. He's the one that's been consistently putting up a lot of damage. Even if they do, even if he doesn't like participate in the KD department. Like the only person that you, especially if you're looking at Slasher, like you just mentioned, it would be Fellow. But Fellow had a phenomenal weekend, and he played very good against Optic. He played very good against LAG, and he had a pretty good series here. Ultimately, I don't think a roster change is why this team lost this team. They choked the fuck out of High Rise, and then again, it's just a map pool thing. We said it even when Miami was playing like thieves and Octane was here. We were talking about how like some of these map sets just don't look particularly good for the teams that are playing against, let's say, Miami and Seattle, and that's why. Like it's literally just a map pool weakness. They got ahead on 6-star. They got it in every single one of their series, at least at one point in their victory, whether it was through a hard point or through a search. For both of these rosters, they were just ahead map pool wise. These teams need to go home. They need to either figure out a way to combat this map pool, get better at other maps, and be able to veto it, or they just need to get better at this map and copy and paste what these teams are doing. Because, like, I'm sorry for rambling here, but like,
No, you're good, bro.
even like Miami, like just played Optic right here. We watched it, and like, dude, they almost beat the fuck out of a top 4 team on that map. Like, these teams are just ahead on that map, and when it comes to playing the lower tier teams, they need to find a way to combat it.
I mean, Caroline's also going to get better in Rio. I think
Yeah.
Rio Hardpoint, they play a lot. They struggled to Rio S&E. They got Kyler in this series. I don't think, listen, Pat, I hear you. I don't think Caroline's making a roster change. They're going to stick it.
Well, question for you, Ben.
Yeah.
If they don't qualify for champs,
Yeah.
do you look back and say, damn, I wish they would have made a roster change after Major 3?
No, I mean, I think it would have been just play. I hate to say it. I think it would have been just playing better online during the first 2 stages would end up being the difference.
No, but that's not we're talking about like right now from the rest of the year. If you have 2 timelines,
Bro,
one they
I'm
just
not
don't
playing
make
this-
champs, and
this
when they do,
stupid what-if game,
do you not
like-
go back and think, damn,
Bro,
maybe they
like,
should have made a
come on,
change?
like-
I'm just saying, bro. I think ahead in this stuff, and I think they're gonna regret not making a change.
It would have been
if they
nice.
Aye, bro,
It would have been
you do
nice
you,
for them to
man.
make a change like earlier in the season
I mean,
when
been
like
begging for that.
when they were like actually struggling, and like Fellow was an actual outlier on this team as to why they were fucking placing or losing a fuck ton of online matches.
You always pack a punch.
But now
That's
it's
just what I'm
not.
saying.
It's not even a case, bro. This team has improved a lot. Like I said, I don't think. So there's a roster weakness here as to why they placed the way they did, or they're going to continue to perform the way they are. The way they do online. It's not. It's not a roster thing.
Let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. You all right, Ben? Go on. Take another
No, I'm
swig.
good.
Take another
I'm good.
swig of this.
I'm
Go ahead.
enjoying myself
Come on, take
right
another
now.
drink.
I would be enjoying a Ghost Energy a little bit.
We don't got those right now. Let's move on to the next series of the day. We got Atlanta Faze going up against the New York Subliners. This one ended in a 3-0 finish for the
Let's put the hood
Atlanta
up for this
Faze.
one.
I'm going to be honest with you, probably the biggest news of the day. Of the weekend. I mean, Atlanta Faze ran through this series so quickly. We'll scroll down and take a look here at the stat sheet. It was actually Dante who was the only one positive for the New York Subliners. Bulldog, the Kismet, he had a really tough series here at .57 on the other side.
Weekend.
He did have a rough weekend, to be fair. I mean, they're still in it, but yeah, up to now, he's definitely had a few tough series. But then on the other side, you have Atlanta Faze, who everybody pulling their way. You have a 1.42 from Draza, a 1.37 from Simp. Selling with a 1.08. Abizi, he's got a .96, but he's throwing down that damage, keeping up in the damage department. I mean, these guys were firing on all 4 cylinders. Sim continues to just play like an MVP. I mean, I feel like he's got to be the lead runner in the MVP race right now. Would you guys agree with that?
I mean, him and Scrappy, I think.
The other reason this series was close is because in map 2, Chris made a lot of good plays, but he also made some bad plays. But, bro, this New York team, I think at Respawn is the easiest read for Faze. They just know that Kiz is going to go on these long routes. They know how Caesar plays. And they know when they kind of isolate, make Paco last alive, they just kind of stick together and don't get singled out. Like, it is a big mismatch in the Respawns. There's not a lot of ways that New York can attack their map pool. They've tried a lot of different ways the last couple of series, and it's been tough. They tried Vista in this. They got fucking slammed. I don't know, man.
Faze have 0 map pool weakness. They have 1 map, essentially, that they don't play, and they are allowed to have that auto veto because it doesn't matter what else you play them on. You're going to get fucking shit on.
Invasion S&D could be interesting, though. I was a little bit worried about 6-star going in this series. They grind this one out. Faze's defenses on 6-star are still suspect. They got to clean that up. Invasion S&D a little bit wobbly, but... Bro, they look really good on Vista Hardpoint. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, honestly, Draza just had a quiet series, Ben.
Yeah, after the series, Ben goes on. Draza had a pretty quiet series, I feel. He got a 1.42.
They weren't spectating.
Or was after map 2?
Yeah,
they were spectating Chris.
Yeah, they were spectating Simple. Dan, what did you think about the series? FaZe came out and they took care of business. What are your thoughts?
I mean, that form's crazy, right? I think they tied their win streak for most consecutive matches.
Oh, yeah, they did tie it
at
now,
13.
Right? Yeah.
That's
Obviously,
crazy.
they're in form. And, yeah, I mean, you guys kind of said it, the map pool. Their map pool's here. They just get rid of sub-base, I believe, and it's just, like, take your pick with us. So, yeah, tough team to beat, obviously. And then New York, I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure you guys say it, they're top 4, but there may be a tier between New York and these other teams, and FaZe kind of showed
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think it is with New York? Like, what do you think was the biggest problem today? Because it didn't look like they were shooting back today.
Bro, they're the easiest read of all time.
It's not even that. It's just like in general, Kismet is just not as good at this game. Like the way his play style is just not as effective. It's just not as effective. Like he's had a lot of struggling series. Dante's had his critics, but he shows up. He plays fine here. Hydra had a quiet series. That's an actual quiet series there, Ben. And then Sky is also didn't play particularly well when he's also been like a top 2 player for this team. But I mean, the main culprit is just it's flat out it's Kismet. He's just not as effective at this game. You're seeing pretty much every other submachine gun player on these top 4 teams be able to find form at times. Pred, Shotzi, Abizi, Simp, even Kleenex and Envoy, even though he had a very struggling portion of his run on this game, he's been able to pull it back, but Kismet just hasn't been able to get it together this entire year.
By playstyle, you mean just his pace, like the way that he just kind of headbutts and runs?
Yeah. I think he takes a lot of long routes, and especially for the ARs on FaZe, like Salim and Draws, like they're always aware of the pitch when it's coming, and I just think, like you saw also the situation that happened on, I think it was a P5 row where Abizi hard played for Kiz, it was bottom. Like I just think FaZe has got the easiest read on them in Respawn, and it's just a weird map pool mismatch. And the only way that New York has really challenged these guys when they played is taking it on map 5, and they clutched up one invasion search a while back. FaZe won the other one recently, and then since then it's been kind of one-way traffic in this matchup.
I mean, surely Kismet can adapt a little bit here, right? I mean,
he's gotta.
It's a new game. He's just going to have to adapt. I guess we would say the pacing might be off a little bit here, Pat. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we think that, right? But, like, I mean, it took Envoy a little while. Like,
yeah.
Kismet's had, 7 months, 6 months since this game has been out. Like, I don't know. I kind of just agree with Chris. It's just a different game, and it doesn't suit him and his style.
That's why I said.
I agree with you. That's what I led
you said
with.
Disagree.
No, he said agree.
Did he? Oh,
yeah, he said agree.
It's kind of the inverse of Faze and MW2, right? Like just the sub duo gets drastically better in this game, and I think New York's gets worse. Obviously, Hydra hasn't had as big of a fall off, but yeah, Kiz was co-MVP last year on this New York team, and he's just not able to put it together in this game.
And I want to say this: if you want to know why his FaZe team is so good, just watch the plays that Sam makes in both these Respawn maps and the search. Like, this guy's the best player in the game. Scrap's up there with him, but the stuff that Chris is doing to win that S&D, it was a close S&D. Plays he's making on offense were big, and the one defense I believe they did win. And then the control, man, the reason they're unbelievable at fucking invasion control is what Chris does, rotating between bomb sites, mid-map, going fire tank, hitting dark alleys, staying alive, hitting long pitches.
He's a tough player to keep track of when he's in flow state. It's hard to keep track of him, and he's an impact on the map. Like, he'll take the space and he'll pin teams back. Like, he's a hard player to play against for sure. I'm still waiting for MC to shoot bodies and die and Crowder to lose full.
Well, he almost did in the.
He almost did it. We were watching a control, and MC was the only guy capping on 8 point. Me and Dan were watching, and we were like, holy! He was lighting his guy's body up. He was one shot, lighting his guy's body up in the open. We were just waiting for this guy to die.
I was here with you guys, and we're like, yeah, Crowder's probably pissed. I actually talked to MC and RJ and Nick Proto sort of a couple hours after, and I asked them about that play. And MC was like, yeah, if I died there, I was going to jail. So
Is that what he said? He said that? He said he was going to jail?
And RJ agreed. It was 2 months jail.
Yeah. For those of you that did miss a tweet, this is what Celium did tweet after the series today.
His name is
It's
so
a
funny.
crazy tweet.
I would love to know who the hell is making these for him. Did he request this
He
graphic?
had Gertch to help him.
I think I've done that one on the flank before.
Have you done this? He stole your shit,
Not
Pat?
with the Toronto background, but
You did it
MC
something
with
similar.
You've done this before.
This
it was
guy
Kiz.
MC. But I'm not gonna lie, like, bro, I remember on the flank when you said that these guys need to have more grit. We've talked about this before, bro. Face shooting bodies, like talking
That's
shit,
what they gotta
like,
do, bro. Because look, we all know they're better than everyone else. If they make the other teams know that too, it's a whole different story.
It's all mental, bro.
It's a mental game. It's a mental game at the end of the day. Any other final thoughts on a series? This was like a 40-minute series, 30, 40-minute
Yeah,
series.
it's the only 3-0 so far this weekend.
The only 3-0, yeah, the only 3-0 this weekend, which is kind of crazy. Usually we have a lot more.
No, Ravens 3-0 to LAG.
Oh, true.
It's the only other one.
Oh, good catch, Duarte. I forgot about
LG
that.
was here this weekend?
No, that's not right.
Jesus Christ.
All righty, let's move on to the next series of the day. We had the Toronto Ultra going up against the Optic Texas. This one ended in a 3-1 victory for the Toronto Ultra.
That's a good one, Tom.
Yeah, we'll scroll down. We'll take a look at the stat sheet here. Jesus, mono. Looks like everybody was pulling weight on both sides. Kenny struggled a little bit on the Optic side, but he was putting that damage down.
Just couldn't finish
He
fucking
just
kills.
couldn't finish kills. He was
You got
putting the
that guy in
damage.
fantasy, Ben.
I'll be honest. It was maps 3 and 4 where Kenny struggled. It kind of hindered his stats a little bit because maps 1 and 2 he was doing his thing.
I want to be,
Actually, not really.
I want
Maps
to
two,
be
he got
fair, and I
pooped
want to
on
go
toe.
to Dan to see if Dan backs me up. Like, Ken obviously needed to finish a couple of kills in this series. Fair. But I thought his teammates also made some particularly poor decisions in map 2 and 3. Like, do you agree, Dan? Like, can't put the full blame on Kenny for this loss.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing to look at is, like you said, usually when someone's this negative, you look at their damage, and, I mean, he's, 50 damage off Dashy?
Yeah.
Obviously, the S&D round 1, I don't know what happened there. I think that was, like, a round that kind of swung the momentum in the map 2. And then map 3, I mean, they just threw a defense at the end. So, obviously, you wishes you could have got a couple more kills to make some of these invasion rounds closer or just close them out. But it's a tough one, and I'm sure Kenny's kind of kicking himself like, damn, I wish I could have finished a couple more kills. Like 5 more kills could have probably been the difference in this series.
Mm-hmm. Pat, I want to throw it over to you. The first round in that S&D definitely was a checkout for sure. We might even need to pull that up just to take a look at it. But, Pat, what did you think about the series?
I just think Toronto's better, Tom.
Okay.
I mean, I know this is the first time Optic has lost to a team not named Faze in like 4 months. Obviously, there's some matchup stuff in the qualifiers that kind of helps that stat. But, I just thought once Toronto put it together and they stopped being as inconsistent they were, they got their S&D a little bit better. I just think they're still ahead of this Optic team. And I don't think that gap between Optic and everybody else was as big as you guys had thought. And I'm excited for the rest of this tournament because I think Optic is winning no more series, Tom.
I will say that this series reminded me of when Optic played Faze online, where I feel like they just fucking choked. Like that S&D, obviously they fuck up on that round. They end up just losing the rest of the map. But that control, the way they lost it, was absolutely unacceptable. They literally needed like 10 seconds to win. They were all covering certain lanes. Granted, it wasn't the optimal setup, and they probably turtled a little bit. There's just a big miscommunication, or I don't know, just some sort of read as to like what they were watching. And Kleenex was able to slip through and just shoot people in the back that he had no business slipping through or slipping by. And then they ended up just collapsing and then going into or now having to win an offense on invasion where they pretty much would have closed it out. Obviously, I don't know if that's going to change the entire direction of the series, but they would have at least extended it by another map, going into another S&D. And with Toronto struggling in S&D, they were able to get one on the board against Optic this series. Who knows if they would have been able to get to. So
I will say, Chris,
they choked.
Toronto's actually been really. We should give Toronto flowers. They've been very good at search so far in the 2 series they played this event.
Yeah,
so
they played 2 S&Ds total.
Maybe they've turned the corner in the game. We'll see tomorrow.
So this is the moment here in the first round where Kleenex jumps out to check the bomb in a 2v1. There's 9-10 seconds left on the clock, but nobody from Optic is on the bomb. And it's weird because they knew Kleenex was in red, right? They had the info. They knew he was in there.
Back it up 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, they knew he was here.
Bruce was definitely making plays. If I had to guess, I think AG thought that Toby jumped out of the bed
And went towards P2.
Diner or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right here, he probably thought he took off and didn't actually just stick around.
I feel like right here he would have saw him, though. If he jumped off and took, I don't know. I feel like with the timings, I think you take the gamble there and just pretty much you got to think he's in red there because he did shoot.
Even then, though, I mean, the strat in any 2v1 is someone hop, someone look over. You
Right.
have to roll that dice. They were both playing for the kill, which made no sense.
Then also something that might be little, but Dashy got an ace this round, 4-0. He should have got off of this. They showed the comms at the end of the map in the replay, and somebody told him to stay on it. Nah, just stick it. Fuck it. Nah, he should have just got off. He clearly didn't get this. He clearly didn't get it. He started off 4-0. A streak in this game could be a game changer. Then he starts off the next round. He finds the first blood in the next round. I thought he should have hopped off of it, to be honest with you. I don't think he should have stuck it. As soon as he hopped it, I think we all knew he didn't get it. And they knew. Listening to the comms, it sounded like they knew they didn't have it either. So I don't know. I personally would have got off of it. I think the streak could have helped him there. And Scrappy had a great map too. We've talked about Scrappy's S&D and how he really needs to work on that.
He's talked about his own S&D.
He has talked about his own S&D as well, but he has been really good in search and destroy. What do you think? He's just making some adjustments now and adapting his play a little bit?
Yes. I also think that Optic haven't played this map in a match in a while, which definitely helped.
And what did I tell you about that, Ben? Because I remember you saying this on the flank. You were like, "Oh, it's Karachi. It's their best map. They're not worried about it at all." Yet every team got infinite amount of VOD on them, and they didn't obviously play it for a little while. And so I think that was the worst case scenario for them.
It's what happens. Sometimes if you don't play a map for a month in a real match, and 2 months, then you come back the first time and to your point, they've got a game plan, and you're going to try and do the same shit. It's not going to work, and we've seen what Optic and S&Ds this year. They're not always the best at adjusting mid-map, and Toronto gets one on them. And then it's control. I mean, you're queuing up a play right now.
Yeah, we had to talk about the
couple
control.
Plays here.
The control is something we say, yeah, let's write that down. Let's see what the heck happened. Yeah.
To see how what happened with Strap here.
Okay, so this far enough, Dan? Is this good enough here? So the shots come in. Kleenex finds one.
I don't think they ever had info on Strap.
They kill him, I'm pretty sure.
On Scrap?
Actually, no, they don't kill Scrap. They're not right.
Nah, Scrappy's behind them. They have no idea he's there. It's just the fact that Kleenex is able to waltz up street without anybody seeing him.
What is he looking at?
I think that's the biggest problem. The fact that Kleenex just runs up the street here, if nobody has street,
he gets insane timing.
Not see him there. Yeah, I was about to say that's the only time.
Now that we just watched this again, he gets insane timing.
He's shooting at number 3, and then he goes to point, and
he
doesn't see Toby.
Perfect play.
He doesn't see him. Yeah, so he's probably calling somebody out deep street.
Yeah, bench.
But I'm surprised. I'm still surprised about this play here by AG and Dashy just laying down here. They're both looking towards mid. I don't know. I think one of these guys are trolling.
I think AG's in a fine spot.
Dashy's not even looking at mid. He's looking at mannequin door.
Yeah, no, I think Brandon's the one kind of trolling here.
Which I don't know why he's looking at mannequin. Maybe he got a comm. Maybe there's a comm. He heard.
Because Ken spawned deep, so they assume they thought someone.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot easier to call it out now, but in the heat of the moment, I don't know what the comms are like.
So AG's in cafe this whole time, which is fair. This is not a bad play. They're actually both in cafe.
Number 5 might have known Scrappy was pushing right and probably called it.
They Eiffel Towered cafe.
Yeah, they did.
One Toby stunned them.
They were, and then they moved.
Then Brandon moved.
Yeah.
He went to look. He's looking at laundry.
Yeah,
he thinks somebody else threw.
And then Kleenex finds 1, jumps the corner, finds 2. Scrappy's on the pinch. They swarm the point. That's 3. And they only needed 1 tick, so this tick just goes by in the blink of an eye.
I'll say about this play, if Ant had actually seen the guy, I think they probably stopped this because he's getting a trade, and I can trust Ant to finesse in there and stay alive and probably get the 1v1. But
yeah,
it's insane timing. I didn't even notice that the first time I watched it.
I mean, in that round, it's just a checkout too, right? Because then it goes to an overtime. Toronto's got the defense now, and it's like, holy shit, what just happened there? That could have been around there to Optic Texas. So
yeah, I assume the flow just needed to be better on defense of what positions were picked up.
Mm-hmm. 100%. You even heard Scrappy say it in the interview that he just felt like they broke down right there. Like that they knew after that they didn't feel like they were going to lose this series. And then they went on, of course, into the map 4. And this is where they were able to close it out.
Jamie, inside show to close out on the last couple of hills. You've been waiting for Jamie to step up. I think, listen, if you're a Toronto fan, you got to be feeling great about your progress. Obviously, the Faze matchup's going to be tough tomorrow. We'll talk about it at the end of the show, but I just think Toronto was the much more disciplined today and team today. And Optic, listen, like this should not be a surprise. If you're an Optic fan, say, oh, they had one bad day, bro. We've been saying now on every show with them, reviewing their matches for like 3 weeks now. They've been playing like B-level COD. They're still winning series. They're still finding ways to win against teams other than
their
Faze.
talent. They're winning because of their talent.
Yeah.
And they can't really say anything about that because AG literally said it on stage. He said it, right? Like Pred said it. He's like, yeah, we're playing sloppy COD right now. Like we're not playing good COD.
Yeah.
We could be playing a lot better than what we're doing right now.
Which is okay.
Yeah, that's fine. It's good that they're acknowledging it. That's what makes a good team.
Listen, it is one time of the year that you want to play sloppy COD. It's the middle of the season because then you can try and improve on that and peak at the end of the season. So I wouldn't panic too much if you're an Optic fan. That being said, tomorrow with the run, I think they have a good chance against New York. And then we'll see after that.
They have a good chance against New York. Looks sloppy, man.
I think
New York even
New
York looks even
relying
worse.
too heavy on their talent. I think we called it out too when they were playing Miami. It's just like they kept separating. They were doing the same thing in the hard points before. I just feel like when they're not getting the kill, when they're not outslaying the teams massively, they kind of just lose composure. And start breaking down, going one by one. I think that's their biggest issue is they're just so used to out-talent-diffing everyone. When it's a little bit more even, they kind of just lose their mind.
To be fair, too, Pat, like that happened against Miami a little bit, too, where they were kind of getting flustered. You can see that they're just running at them and just kind of going one by one. Which, don't get me wrong, they're all very talented players. So even going one by one, they might pop a piece here or there. But when you're playing really good teams, like you just got to make sure you stay composed in those moments and, just make sure you're playing, using your numbers and using your teamwork. Because I agree. So a few times they were panicking and they were kind of just stagnant and they were going one by one. We were talking about it a little bit on the watch party. So Optic, good team. They got to clean up some things. Obviously, they fall to Toronto Ultra. Toronto Ultra move on. They'll be playing Faze tomorrow in the winners final. We'll get to predictions at the end. But any final thoughts on the Optic Toronto series?
No, let's move on.
All right, let's move on to the
Ben
next.
got somewhere to be, bro.
Yeah, Ben, you all right? You trying to smoke some combine? These guys. Let's move on.
I'm just trying to keep the show moving.
Yeah,
bro.
these balls in your mouth. All right, let's keep it going.
Real fucking mature kid.
Let's keep it going to the next series of the day. We got the New York Subliners going up against the Seattle Surge. We know Sib in 04 got a little drama there, a little beef, some storylines.
Instigation out of me, by the way.
Benjamin Seam instigated that. What did that? So scroll down, take a look at what's going on here. Jesus, fuck.
Yeah.
Seattle Surge struggling in the kill department here versus the New York Subliners. Chris, we'll start off with you on this one. Was New York just a little bit too much for Seattle Surge in the slaying department, or what?
Well, Seattle, once again, they win 6-star. Just been a bread and butter for them the entire weekend. When they won that map, I was like, wow, these guys have a real shot at winning this. But then they lose out a search and destroy, and after they lost search and destroy, I'm like, okay, back to reality here.
Yeah.
Subliners are probably going to take this series. But, yeah, I mean, they were just a little bit too much. You got a really good series out of Skies, Hydra, and you got a great series out of Sib. Kismet was still contributing. He obviously didn't put up the best stats, but he rarely ever does. But yeah, I mean, the only person shooting back here was Abuza. And for a slate-heavy team like New York that a lot of people like to harp on for kill whoring, when you run into a team like that and you're Seattle, you're essentially just getting farmed. And that's kind of
hold up. 04 was shooting.
He was shooting. He was making plays.
I mean,
15K damage.
this is what
Yeah,
you
he
see
was
with
shooting.
Seattle, though. Like, Brezzy has had problems going positive in almost every series this year, and especially in a series like this, he's going to be kind of an out-factor. And Kyler, we've talked about, he's super inconsistent on land. The series before this, he had played great. He almost won the map 2 by himself, basically. But in this series, he was also pretty much kind of irrelevant. So I think Sam pointed out on the couch when we were watching this that Seattle kind of just ran out of gas. They lost that second map.
Bro,
Yeah,
I
they
don't know
did
what it
lose.
is about Kyler, but he's been having a lot of series where he just has like insanely low damage, like most of the time.
Because
It's
he
like
has the
he's running.
sprints.
He's
He has
not,
the sprints,
like,
bro.
He's
He just
not shooting
runs.
his gun,
That
bro.
boy be
Sometimes
Bro, he's a less
He gets caught sprinting so much, bro. It happens all the time. Bro, even when he's one shot, he'll jump out and chow. Like he doesn't give a
Kyler
fuck.
He's
is
never
always on his
changed that.
ABCs, bro. Always be chilling.
Yeah, no, seriously, he really does.
Always
Pat,
be challenged.
what did you think about the series? Seattle, New York. New York took care of business here.
Yeah, I just think it was a talent diff on land. obviously the first map was a little surprising. It was like, okay, hold on, and then it was like,
that's what I was thinking, yeah.
never mind. It kind of just took care of business.
Yeah. To be fair, 6 Star is a good map for Seattle. I feel like
That
it's
is
just it's just one of those maps where you could just hit shit out as a unit.
Good
and
map
just,
for all these bottom 8 teams that can just kind of play a little unorthodox, be fast, and catch these top teams off guard.
Yeah, and Dan was talking about it a little bit during the watch party, but it's just the way that Seattle plays. Like, you kind of live and die by it, right? And when you play some of these top teams, like, you can get put in a blender, and they'll punish you for it. And then on the other side for New York, I think Sib's been playing really well for these guys. I know that Sib's kind of been like that guy that everybody's looking at this year because obviously last year they had such a successful year, and they dropped Priesta and brought in Sib. But I thought Sib looked good today. I thought he's been shooting. He's been looking really good. I feel like with some of the struggles, it doesn't all come down on Sib, and it's just a narrative I've been seeing a lot.
It's not Dante,
It's not-
bro. It's the game.
Yeah,
It's
if
the reason
they
why
kept
this
the
team
same
is worse
roster, I
is the
think they'd be
game.
in the same position.
They could arguably be in a worse position.
They
Yeah,
could,
'cause
they
the
could
rest hasn't
definitely.
looked that great
Arguably.
either, yeah.
Arguably,
Yeah,
because
this
Stage
was
Priest
not-
has not been fucking the greatest. So
Stage is not looking good. I mean, at least for New York, it's a good fight back in this series. Good regain after losing that first map like pretty bad. I don't think shooting his gun has been Dante's problem. It's the decision making with this team in respawn. That's why they get blown out at times by Optic and Faze, because they just get punished for massive poor communication and team decision mistakes they make in that game mode. They've been good at search almost all year, but we'll see tomorrow. I mean, this is a pretty clean win for them after the first map, but
Yeah, they're still
Tougher test
they're
tomorrow.
still in the tournament for sure. I
Control
mean, if-
invasion was crazy.
yeah.
Attacks were winning. I think it was
Yeah.
like, what, 3 straight attack
3
wins?
straight.
Yeah.
attack
Yeah, that
wins.
was wild.
Until-
which
Almost 4.
Yeah, until New York finally just iced it up at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan, you obviously you're in the scrims every single day, right? Is there that much big of a difference between land and online to invasion control? I feel like on land, like people like shit themselves on defense. Like, I don't know what it is. We see way more. I would love to see the stats, but I feel like we see way more offensive wins on invasion control on land than we do online.
You're probably right.
That's what it
100%.
feels
It's just,
like.
It's just atmosphere. You know, you don't want to die. I mean, scrims is obviously different. People are just flying.
At least
Yeah.
from a scrim
Scrims are way
POV, at
different,
least from
yeah.
a scrim POV to a match POV, it's like I could imagine in scrims, you get put on that offense and you're just like, like let's just like.
Yeah, once you get to
it's like
put
you're
in
not
the
really
blender,
trying
you're
that
just like,
hard, right?
whatever.
You're just like, it's whatever. It's an offense. But when you play a match, it's like you have to win. Every
Yeah.
round is a must win, so you're just trying infinitely harder.
But I also notice on land, sound is a big thing on land, bro. People can't sound whore as easily on land. Like, there's people running around without that silence, like I see people busting through doors and shit. Like, nobody's even turning around. Like, online, everybody's turning around with
And it's
certain
not
situations.
the EQ. Sometimes it's just like the audio equipment they have at LAN.
Oh,
Plus,
yeah, I don't
like,
think
the
it's
crowd
EQ.
and all that
It's just
stuff
the-
and like the
the
atmosphere.
environment.
No, it's not sound
Yeah,
EQ.
because some dude, I mean,
Headset,
like
earbuds.
the
it's
amount
all
of
different.
time I hear like in online matches, like EQ when a guy like hears like a slide or something, I'm like, bruh, you play the game, I'll hear that shit without any sort of
Yeah.
sound settings. Like, it's just more so like the LAN atmosphere. It's just harder to hear.
Every time somebody gets sound whore, people spam sound EQ, but you can still sound whore without sound EQ. You don't need it on.
Yep.
But yeah, that one, obviously Seattle Surge, they finished top 6?
Which is great. I think
Top
they're
6, yeah.
probably inside
They're in
track to
fifth.
get a mid seed for champs, which is huge. So Seattle
I mean,
keep
there's
doing.
still plenty of COD to play.
Yeah,
7
but I think
online
Seattle-
matches in a tournament.
They've been consistent enough, and I can check their online schedule. And we can kind of
Yeah, that's what I'm interested about. Even looking at our schedule, just like how it's gonna compare like strength of schedules.
So Seattle next stage have Toronto, Rocker, New York, Boston, Vegas, Heretics, and LAG. So I think that's pretty good. You only play
Not
two of
bad.
the top 4 teams. Like there's opportunity for Seattle to basically qualify for champs. They get 4 or 5 wins, and then just
Yeah.
keep moving and grooving. So.
I mean, that'll be a big matchup for y'all, Dan. For you guys.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like those are points that you guys are going to want. You know what I mean? Pat, any final thoughts? Anything else you want to move on, Pat?
No, I'm down to move on. Ben's
All right.
obviously we're gonna say it anyway. Might as well get out.
Chat's saying it. Chat's saying it.
Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, to the last series of the day. We had Optic, Texas, going up against the Miami Heretics. This one ended in a 3-1 fashion for Optic, Texas.
I think it's some Miami Preds because Pred kind of owns this order.
Yeah,
recently.
we're gonna talk about it. Miami, they take the 6-star S&D yet again. They took one against Faze. Now they took one against Optic. Do not play Miami on 6-star. The problem is people are vetoing high rise against them because that's
Yeah,
their map,
high-rise
and
search, yeah.
now they're just really good at 6-star. So obviously it's good for them to see Miami winning some maps. We'll scroll down here and take a look here at the stat sheet. The box score, Jesus fucking bottle.
Superstar, Tom. That's why he's a superstar.
You talk about AG, huh?
Yeah.
With the 1.53. I mean, guys, we can't gas up AG any more than we already have. On the watch party, we were gassing it. He had a 2.12, 36 and 17 in the first map. There was a point where he had 30 kills, and nobody on his team had double digits. Nobody on his team had 10 kills when he had 30, which is
gas.
No, it was 20.
Oh, it's 20?
He was 20.
Yeah,
it
20.
was
No one
20.
had double digits.
Oh,
then,
shit.
then he had to
30 and everyone else single digits is insane, bro. They
No, when he got to 30, no one had broken like 20. Like,
It was insane, bro. This guy was cooking.
They're not playing, bro. They smoked around subbase. Faze don't play subbase.
Bro, they are
Yeah,
playing
they're not
dog
playing
shit.
sub-
that
this
map
is
is
us.
done for the rest of fucking.
Yeah.
This was dog shit COD out of Optic, if I'm being honest. They did manage to get the victory, but like the fact that three people on actually not even 3 people. I think 2 people on Miami in general had like 0.7s, and this was literally seconds away from going to a map 5.
Yeah.
Is absolutely gross out of Optic in terms of their gameplay. In terms of AG, like he literally willed them to win this series. I don't care what anyone says. He played absolutely fucking absurd. Like he was literally doing everything he can to win the maps, and yeah, he performed really well. But Optic was playing literally some of the worst COD they've probably played, like as a team.
They're
in a
calm.
while.
That listening with
You
them
think
was-
so? Some of the worst COD they've ever played?
Bro, they
I
were.
mean, they also
dragging
have
it,
bro,
bro. They
two-
won
What do you
3-1.
mean?
Yeah,
Two
not the
pe-
worst
no,
ever.
I'm talking about like in like what kills
Maybe
or
the hard
the
point?
kills. I'm talking about the way they were playing the map. 2 people dropping a 0.7, and look at the fucking scores of these respawns.
Yeah, but
The high
look at
rise is clinical,
high
though.
rise control.
the high
they
rise is
3-0'd 'em.
clinical.
But
yeah.
both hard points, bro. The listenings with Optic, I
Like,
I
look,
don't
that's
wanna
why they have 0.7. They just have
It-
slammed on a high rise control.
Their listenings are weird. I don't know if I don't want to say they're like hectic, but it just feels like the energy is not being matched by all 4 players. They're kind of just like all over the place.
Well,
with what they
Kenny
wanna do.
carries the listenings, in my opinion. Whenever they go into an Optic listening, Kenny's been that guy that I feel like he's calling everything. Like he's definitely been the vocal leader for them when they go into the. I mean, Ant's usually in the mix. You know, he's usually doing his thing. Like you
AG
hear him.
calls for team challenge.
I mean, the thing is I wouldn't judge this team listening, bro. AG was feeling himself. That dude was just saying, "Bump me, get
Bump
me the fuck
me.
off this
Every
cell.
time.
Bump me,
Bump me, bump me,
yeah.
bump me." Like, bro, like AG was just taking over that map. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
look too much into this listening because it was just AG saying, "Get me the fuck off this hill. I want to go kill him."
Yeah, which to be fair is a good play. Bumping is a good play.
I'm just concerned the Optic search hasn't looked that great this weekend. 6 stars a problem. They're not going to play sub base against anyone. Probably the rest of this New York, I don't think is going to play them on sub base. Faze definitely won't. Toronto won't probably in the rematch if they get there. The high rise control was great. That 6 star though was sloppy as fucking Optic. Like the P1 break was great, but if they had not done that, Miami was in a great position to win off that hill. So
Yeah, well, Vico didn't rotate at the end. I wanted to take a
Yeah.
look at it because
that's P5, right?
Yeah, I felt like I don't know. He looked like a deer in headlights on the VOD. I was
staring
screaming,
at headlights.
bro. I
It
was
was a
screaming
pleasure.
rotate for 20 seconds.
yeah, you
Like I was just
And he
saying
still
rotate,
wasn't.
and he wasn't doing it. He just refused to
But
rotate.
the
I
weird
don't
thing
know.
is he went like left and right
Tom,
3
it's way-
different
way
times
farther at the
before
end.
deciding.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I wonder what the comms were.
He was lost.
yeah. We could take a look at it and see what's going on. Pat,
It's
what
right
did you
here.
think about the series, Pat?
Right here.
I thought it was a good series. I mean, obviously, the S&D looked sloppy, but I mean, dude, when Pred's doing that, like, there's really not much.
Pred is
anyone
insane.
can do.
Pred is definitely
He's just,
insane.
he's just a walking 2-piece. But I think getting
Yeah.
into this situation, right? 203, 178. Miami got a nice break in and got rebroken. Actually, sorry. Miami rebreaks
they
him in.
held this.
But right here at 30 seconds, you were saying. for
Okay,
Vico to
as soon
rotate.
as he
Just watch him. Just watch the arrow. He literally just
I think as
dances.
soon as he spawns up, he should dip. As soon as he spawns, I think he should just get out of here. It is still 30 seconds.
30
he can
seconds.
he can hold pinch a little bit, but I mean at this point, I mean I think he should get out personally. His team's holding hill.
As soon as Lucky got that kill, I think he
Does
goes.
everybody on Optic die here? Like,
Right
they
here,
got-
yeah.
especially
They got
here,
killed.
especially
Right
here,
here, you're
bro.
going. Right here, you're for sure.
But watch him. He like goes right, comes back left, goes right. Like he did not know what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
Look,
and then
look, what?
yeah, right. Then left, he comes back,
Like,
and then
Well,
but
go
while
back one. Go back one. Did,
Yep.
did Jose call that guy out? Is that what happened?
no, you're talking about number 3
No,
coming
no,
through. Man, I
no
don't think
one-
anybody
no
saw
one
him.
calls
No,
him
out.
nobody saw him.
Well, no, number 3 is the last one alive, so I
Nah,
guess
nobody
it's
saw
kind
him.
of saying that he's just fucking out. But to your point, like,
No,
You
yeah.
see where Dashy is. Vickle should have been there before Bros.
I feel
Like
like
he
Vickle-
should have been there.
I feel like Vickle can rotate and cut mid map because you know that's basically how they're going to probably rotate unless they wrap sort of deep.
The thing is with that hill is like when you do give up the back, like if say off spawn he just hits mid and pinches, they're gonna spawn in the back.
Yeah.
So that's probably why he anchored it to just secure the 30. But I think like what Pat said, once kills started to go happen at all, I think they got like 2 kills.
that
They
two-piece,
knew
yeah.
a guy was down in pipes, which is like, dude, he's not about to mantle and break the hill. he could have led the rotation for sure.
Yeah, he'll probably watch someone back. Granted, we don't know what the comms were like. Maybe they wanted him to hold the pinch. I don't know, but right there, I feel like the pool hill, bro. Like you can actually soak up a lot of time on this pool hill, bro.
100.
If you get there early and get the initial kills, like teams are forced into crossfires here. Like and you can see that's pretty much what Optic do here. Like there's so many corners out here.
It's
and
map
you can,
design.
Yeah,
And
it's
Optic
Like
has a
front
lit-
P2, these curved walls. Like, there's just so much cover, so many ratty
Optic's got a
angles.
literal
and the
shark
pool,
on it,
right?
too.
You could just
Yeah.
play close corners with a Renetti in the pool. Like Shotzi was getting kills, and they didn't even see him. Like he was getting kills close
Stair glitching
water.
in the pool.
You see Shotzi now. Look, this guy runs into the pool, doesn't even see him
card.
here. He stair glitched into the pool, but just really, really good plays from Ant getting in the water. Optic obviously they went big here at the end, and then we get to the last P1 here, and it's got a little scary. I think Miami did get in here for a split second. They won all the fights
and
here.
it flipped.
I also think this was only close because of Real. Like he actually had an insane
Yeah,
map.
40
yeah.
and 24
He was literally
for the
just
loss.
two-piecing
Which, to be
nonstop.
fair,
30
this is his
almost.
map, bro.
Yeah.
Real loves 6-star. He's really good at this map. He was definitely taking over. I agree.
I mean, it looks like a resort that's in Miami, Tom. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
used
I mean,
to it.
it's yeah. He's vibing on this map. That's all him. But Optic, they're able to close it out. They get the kills here at the end. It's all over. You see AG's ready to punch something. Fucking punch somebody. This guy's fucking going nuts. Phenomenal plays. Greenwall goes nuts. They will be going on to Championship Sunday. I mean, gentlemen, any thoughts on the series? Any thoughts on Miami as a whole this week? I thought Miami looked good. We got to give them some
It was
props.
an important weekend for them.
We were
Yeah.
punking them about they haven't won a map on land. They won quite a few this weekend, and I think the last 2 weeks have been massive for Miami's season. They've saved. They were heading to a really bad spot. They played poor at this event where they were going to be down there with Boston really chasing, but
Now they're top.
now
fifth.
they're really in the mix and feeling good about the champ spot.
My fifth seed gone just like that.
Damn,
That was
son.
5th to 9th real quick.
Tough scenes, Dan.
Fucking blinked.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. Then we got some matches tomorrow. We got Championship Sunday. We got some incredible matches coming up. We start things off tomorrow. This is a loser round here, so the loser will go home. We have Optic Texas going up against the New York Subliners, both of them 2-1 in this tournament. This is going to be a really good one. I'm personally going to go with Optic Texas on this one. I just think they look better right now than New York. New York, there's something about them, man. They just don't look like they're competing. They don't look like they're playing as good as Faze and Optic. Like they still look like they're struggling a little bit. And they'll show signs of life, but I definitely think Optic looks better. So I'm going to go 3-1 Optic Texas. Pat, who do you got?
I'm gonna go 3-2 here. I think New York's gonna sneak it out, Tom.
You think New York's going to win?
Yeah.
You think New York's going to sneak it out?
Yeah.
Why, Pat? You think
I just got that feeling, Tom. You know? I think Optic's looking a little sloppy. I haven't seen anyone take over on this Optic team yet, except
But isn't New
Fred.
York also playing sloppy Pat?
That's why I said 3-2, though. I think it's gonna be a New York Nesla.
New York Neslo.
okay, Pat?
1-1.
We'll see what happens. Ben J, who do you got?
I also got a 3-1 Optic. I think New York will take like the S&D because Optic haven't looked good in search, but I think Optic's going to outclass them on the response in this one.
But that
I
sounds
agree.
like you kind of agree with the Neslo theory, Ben.
No, I don't because I have Optic 3-1.
Yeah, but you said that they're only gonna outclass them in the respawns. But if New York might take one of them respawns,
No,
man.
Optic's beating them in the controls. Optic looks good.
All
in
right, but
control.
if New York was to beat them on one respawn, who do you have?
It's got to be control because I think New York's hard point is.
Yeah, but
No,
I'm
but
saying,
he's saying if it goes game 5.
yeah, if it goes,
it goes game
five.
5. Well, if it's like an invasion S&D, I think New York's got a good chance.
Okay, what if it's not an invasion?
So many what
I
ifs.
don't know.
Lord Jesus.
Then I don't know, Pat.
What if one of them shows up sick?
It's not going to be high rise. There's no chance Optic will high rise in this series.
I
so.
think we might get a big series out of Hydra here. That's what I'm kind of expecting.
I mean, to be fair, Paco's been playing well, bro. That guy's gross. Paco's
He's
disgusting.
insane.
He hasn't let up from
Parker's
last year.
been
I'll
good,
tell you
but-
that.
But Skies and Kids are the big X factor tomorrow. If they play the way they played today, those guys are going to be eating
When's the
lunch
last
at 3
time New York
p.m. out of
played
the
Optic?
tournament.
Was that the last major, right? Losers
Yeah,
finals?
I think it was the last major.
Yeah.
What'd that go?
3-1 Optic, I
That
think,
3-1,
right?
right?
Was it 3-1? Oh, yeah, it was 3-1.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure New York won the Karachi S&D using the fucking AGs or some shit where they like nade over the entire map with the
Oh,
ordnance
that's where
nades.
that started.
The
That's when they
bang.
4-pieced them,
Was
right?
that last of it?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
awesome.
that was-
And those gloves got
That feels like it was
instantly
so long ago.
banned.
Yeah, that was.
Chris, who do you got, Chris?
Flip a coin. I mean, I'm just gonna
Flip a
pick
coin,
Optic.
really?
Coin.
No, like I'm gonna pick Optic just because I had them, making a bigger, like a further run in the
deep run?
tournament. But honestly, this could go either way because both teams are playing relatively sloppy Call of Duty.
I think New York look a lot sloppier than
They
Optic.
do,
personally.
but still, I mean, like you never know, right? It's a new day.
But
So
I also think
I'm
part of
picking
New York's
Optic
looking sloppier
regardless.
is Kiz, though. Like Kiz is getting cooked right now. Like, if he just gets to even,
Pat's comment.
they automatically look better.
I mean, fair.
He could
but
adapt.
I
Kismet can
That's what I'm
adapt.
think
saying,
we've
yeah.
seen New York make a lot
Bulldog
of
can
mental
come out on
mistakes.
one Sunday.
He'll come out.
One
It's the
Sunday?
Bulldog, baby.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
It's just, bro, it's Sunday. You know how it is, bro. It don't matter how you played Friday. It don't matter how you played Saturday, or Thursday for that matter. You know, they have Fridays off. But I think Optic still come out.
You got Optic, Dan?
Yeah, I got Optic.
All righty. It looks like we all got Optic except for Pat. He's got
I
New York
low-key
in
have
Game
it
5.
going Game 5.
I can see it
Optic
going all the way,
clutching
too. It's going to be a
I hope it's
cooler,
Game
bro.
5. I hope it's Game 5.
And we're starting off with this series tomorrow, so this is going to be an incredible day. And then, of course, we got the winners final. We got Atlanta Faze going up against Toronto Ultra, Draza versus Scrappy. We know the storylines are there. I'm going to be honest, guys. My bias might be showing, but I feel like it's hard to go against Atlanta Faze right now. They look unreal right now. They look insane. This is probably the best I've seen them, probably since Cold War. So I'm probably gonna go with Atlanta Faze. I'm going Atlanta Faze 3-1 here. I think they're gonna run through this winter final. I think they're gonna look good. They look so confident right now. Pat, what do you think? Atlanta Faze or Toronto
I got
Ultra?
Toronto, Tom. And I will lead with this. I got Atlanta Faze winning this tournament. But I got them doing it through losers. I think Toronto is looking great right now. I think they're going to come out hot tomorrow. Obviously, you heard Faze are getting booed today.
Yeah.
I just think crowd's going to be on Toronto's side. I think they get a nice little upset in the winner final, but I got it going Game 5.
Okay, another Game 5 here. Benjay, who do you got?
Trying to look at some stats, but they're not loading. So I think for Toronto, hardpoints are really tough in this series, but control and S&D are possible. So definitely a NYSL angle for Toronto if Faze's S&D is a bit scrappy. But I just think, no pun intended, but I don't know. Toronto's going to do the double
playing
Rio
6-9.
ban. I got Faze 3-1.
Okay, Duarte, who do you got?
I got Faze. They just look like the better team. They look like the best team. Granted, Toronto could very well come out and play good. They've been playing great all weekend. They've addressed a lot of their weaknesses. So it's very possible that Toronto show up and they got the crowd on their side. I'm picking Faze because I picked them to win the tournament, and I picked them to also win in the winners finals, regardless of who they played. So just keep
And
it.
then
keep it
Dan,
pushing.
who do you got, Dan?
I'll say Faze and winners.
Faze and
But I
winners.
think Ultra get back to the grand finals.
So you're saying Faze Toronto Grand Final?
Yeah.
Everybody, you got to face Toronto Grand Final. Dan's got to face Toronto Grand. I actually got to face Optic Grand Final personally. I think it's gonna be Faze Optic Grand Final, Toronto third.
I agree with Tom. I think
York.
Optic is going to just kind of grind this one out and then lose to Faze in finals.
But if they grind it out, they would have to play, Toronto in losers, and you think they're going to beat them there?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
We'll see. Tomorrow,
you don't think so.
Tomorrow's gonna be fucking crazy, bro. I can't
It
wait
is.
for tomorrow. This is gonna be
I
sick.
think there's no 3-0s tomorrow.
I don't think so either. These teams are too close.
I hope not.
Yeah, me too, right? I hope not. I hope there's no 3-0s. We want to see some good matches. But, guys, I want to give a huge shout-out to Loony, man. Everybody showed Dan some love. He hopped on the watch party today, and he hopped into the flank last second here in Toronto. Obviously, we hope Sam and his fiancée and everybody's doing okay over there. You know, health is the most important thing. But Loony last second hopped in and showed some love. So, get a welcome for him. Get a Loony spam in the chat. Show him some love in the comments.
Did
And,
absolutely nothing. Love it.
yeah, bro. My man Dan's an animal, bro. This guy's an OG, man.
Let
I've
me-
known Dan since it was 18, 19. Go ahead,
Rise
Benjay.
Nation
Let me go hit that putt.
Oh, yeah, Benjay, go hit the fucking putt. You're on land. You're 1 for 1 so far on land. But, Ben, we do have a special guest in the building. Do you usually choke in front of our special guest? I'm not going to lie. Also, you might want to get rid. There's a computer in the way. You might want to get rid of that computer. Or you.
Laptop.
Yeah, that laptop. Yeah, you might want to get rid of that there. Yeah, put that. Yeah, and then maybe move up the webcam a little bit, Benjay. You know what I mean? Fuck it. What's this guy doing, man? What is this guy doing?
Just put it on the floor.
The Queen in the background yet again. Shout out to Queen Mitch in the back. Everybody make some noise.
Put it. I
Put
think you
it.
have to
Move
scoot
it up.
Damn, bro. Lock in, man.
Oh, man, it's Benjay. Guys, get your predictions. Let's take a look here at the channel points. Does Ben make the putt? There's 5.8 million on you making it. There is 8 million on you missing it, Benjay. So a lot of people are putting in some picks on you not making it, Ben. Majority got Ben missing the putt. Oh, Jesus
we need a,
Christ. Hey, you didn't have to do all that. Jesus.
We need to take some steps. It got to be at least 10 steps.
Yeah, at least 10 steps. That's good right there. That's good right there.
Right in the center of that circle.
Yeah, that's not bad right there. He's got his little soccer ball, golf balls going on there. I don't know what ball that is. Benji to see, but a fucking building, lining it up, stepping up to the plate. He's got his flank merch on. Let's see if he can sink it on land. He's laser focused right now. And it's, whoa, Jesus Christ. Oh, man, it's terrible. It is terrible.
That was terrible.
And he's going back for round 2. He's going back. He's going to visit again. Oh, man. Benji stepping up. He moved it a little bit closer this time. And he sinks the ball, but it doesn't matter because he already missed. And ladies and gentlemen, the chat goes wild as he misses the putt. Some people are losing composure here, Benji. You costed them their channel points.
Damn, a lot of people had no, though.
A lot of people did have no. There was 15 million channel points on you missing. So a lot of people just ate good, man. They're eating good right now. This guy's an asshole. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us, man. I hope you guys have been enjoying the watch parties, enjoying the shows. We got one more day left. Championship Sunday is tomorrow. We will be live.
Start 1:30 again?
1:30, yep, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, same start time. We'll be back tomorrow, man. Back in action, ready to go. I hope you guys have.
Also, coffee and cod early. F1 watch party tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Kite tack rap, me and tack, vibing.
Shout out to Tactical Rap. Guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites we're on. Go follow @theflank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials. And, of course, go to ZOOMAA.gg for the merch. Got new merch dropping soon, so make sure to go sign up over there. Take care. Brush your hair, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for Championship Sunday, man. Take it easy.
Brush it.